fruit apples and water.
Mr. Beatty, we're ready to go whenever you are.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to call the facilities meeting to order. Today's the 20th. It's about 11:05. We have a quorum. I believe the only one missing is Ms. Sieber. And she informed me a few days ago that she would not be able to attend. I'd like a motion to approve the minutes of the prior meeting. Do I have a motion for that?
Brett McGowan in the boardroom.
Motion by Mr. Supervisor. Who is in the boardroom that second that?
Jack Diamond.
Jack. Thank you, Jack. Second by Mr. Diamond. All approve of the meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, carry. Today's agenda is actually very short. There's not a lot with the airport at all, but there are a few discussion items. And I'm going to turn this over right now to Mr. Hajos, who's going to talk about a few requests we need to have done. So, Mr. Hajos?
Thank you, Chairman Beatty. Good morning, everyone. First item on the action agenda, new business items, is a request to approve a resolution to fund the generator purchase for the HSB building. We've talked about this in the past. The HSB, when it was built, the generator that was installed as part of that project was undersized. We have another use for that generator. It will be eventually moving over to Countryside. We were waiting for OGS basically to put out a contract for hazardous incident response equipment, which they have. We now have found a generator that will suffice to run everything in the human services building. So this transfers the money that we have in the reserve account to the equipment account so we can purchase that generator.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve to bring this to the floor?
I'll make the motion. Diamond.
A motion by Mr. Diamond, second by Ms. Hogan. Any discussion?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Brad McGowan.
Okay, Mr. McGowan, you have the floor.
Yeah, I was just wondering, how did, I mean, I know the building's not that old, and were we not thinking back at the time of the total needs of the whole building, or were we doing just kind of like a temporary standby system? I'm just wondering why we didn't think of putting such a large generator over.
Well, go ahead, Mr. Hajos. I remember that conversation way back when. Go ahead, Mr. Hajos.
I was actually just going to say that when that human services building started construction, I was not here at the county. I was actually here at the finish of the building. That was the generator that was spec'd out. Honestly, that generator could probably run, based on the specs that we talked about, the entire building. But you're always taking a chance that if anything extra came online or about, it may not suffice. So right now it was only able to run the elevators, some emergency lighting, but basically what ends up happening is that's the limit. And when the power goes out, we have a bunch of individuals who are sitting there at their desktops not being able to do work because they don't have the power to feed those. So the one that we're getting now, the current one is a 275 kilowatt. The new one's going to be a 350 kilowatt generator, and it will suffice for running everything in that building. But I can't speak to why it was, the minimal size back then because I was not part of that design at the time.
Supervisor Beatty, I can shed a little light on that if you want.
Okay, Mr. Morehouse, feel free to take the floor.
That generator that was put in the HSB building was moved from the old annex building that was over on Gurney Lane Road. And at the time of construction, it was, money was tight and that it was deemed that generator would run a third of the building. So they moved it over, they hooked a third of the heat pumps to it and the emergency lighting and whatever was necessary to basically get people out of the building. Since then, we've had several times when the building had to be closed or people sent home because of the undersized generator. But it was it was because we had the generator and, that's why it was used.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think Chairman Thomas, you have a comment?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was basically gonna echo what Frank said, that it came from the other DSS building, and it's what we had, and money, we wanted to keep the cost down as much as possible.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Any other comments or discussion before I call the question? Seeing and hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Amanda, anyone in the boardroom opposed?
No.
Okay, thank you. Motion carried unanimously. Number 2 on your action agenda, new items business list. Mr. Hajos, you have the floor.
Yes, this is for a new contract for elevator maintenance repair. Typically, we put this out to bid. We haven't received bids yet, but it's basically an agreement with a vendor to provide maintenance, the monthly maintenance and semi-annual inspections for our elevators throughout the county. This year, we added a new elevator on, which was a human services building. It's past the warranty period where the existing company was still under kind of contract to do that work for us, but now it's been added on as part of this bid. So bids will be in November 5th, and as always, we will award to the lowest responsive bidder, and there's an option with the contract to possibly extend 2 one-year extensions beyond this year or the first year.
Okay, do I have a motion to bring that to the floor?
Brad McGowan.
Brad McGowan, thank you, Mr. McGowan. Second by Mr. Conover. Discussion? Seeing and hearing none, there's none in the boardroom, Amanda?
Nope.
Okay. Seeing and hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Next item on the agenda is number 3, and that's also similar to the elevator. It's for a new contract for septic pumping, cleaning, and disposal. Again, this is a kind of a term agreement type contract. It would be renewable after the first year for 2 more one-year extensions if we so choose. And it's basically for pumping out any septic systems that we have, cleaning and disposal of the material. Any of the septic systems we have in the county. We have them at Up Yonder. We have them at the fairgrounds. We have them, Sheriff's Office. We have a couple different areas that we have them. We don't pump every single one of them every year. Some of them are on a kind of a 3-year rolling. Others we do every single year. Again, this would be awarded to the lowest responsive bidder, and bids are coming in on October 29th.
Thank you, Mr. Hajos. Do I have anyone who wants to bring that motion to the floor?
I will, Jack Diamond.
Jack, thank you, Mr. Diamond. Do I have a second? Mr. McGowan with the second. Discussion. Seeing and hearing none, I will call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Amanda, is anyone opposed in the boardroom?
No.
Oh, thank you very much. Okay, we're going to go to number 4 on your agenda. It's discussion items. First item is going to be the OES facility, and Mr. Hajos or Mr. Morehouse. I'll leave it to Mr. Hajos. Go ahead.
Frank can talk to it, too, but we were, last month, we didn't necessarily need approval. We just wanted to let the committee know that we were going to do the electrical work. For us to get a CO, we at least need to have some lighting within the facility. As you all were aware, when we started this project, there was an electrical panel. It was basically an outdoor panel that Mr. LaFleur and the OES department were using to charge their vehicles, keep the warmers in the vehicle, so on and so forth. Now, we're starting to do the electrical work within the building to get that lighting in there and to provide them some outlets within the building as well. So that work was to start this week. I will defer to Frank. Frank, are we moving forward with that?
I believe we're waiting on material for that, but If not this week, it'll be next week. And it's not a lot of work. It'll be done within a week.
Thank you, Frank. Can I ask, when would that building be ready to roll so we can put in equipment? Because, obviously we're in November now and, who knows when snow's gonna hit and all that good stuff.
Once the electrical is complete, the building codes would give us the CO for the facility, and then we could start moving the equipment in, or Brian could start moving his equipment in. We at least have to give some type of lighting in there. That's basically what they're waiting on in codes, is to give it's a safety issue. Yes, you could open the doors and there's enough light from that, but they won't give us a certificate of occupancy until we have the lighting in there.
Okay, so, if you had to make an educated guess, Mr. Hajos, could you give it just educated guess, ballpark?
Couple weeks and Brian will start to move his equipment in.
Thank you. Okay.
Yep.
I think we'll beat the snow.
Hopefully.
Chairman,
Pardon me?
Mr. Chairman, Brent McGowan.
Yes, Mr. McGowan, go ahead.
Yeah, Kevin, with this electrical work, we're planning on putting electrical, how are we moving along with garage door openers? I did take a tour and I'm putting a list together of some punch items that I see that need to be addressed before, along with, finishing up this project. I would like to really keep a push on the electrical because we are approaching the cooler season pretty quickly there. You can tell by the leaves. But garage openers, those are some big doors.
Yeah.
I know we still have money in the budget left over. Are they being factored in with the electrical too to have all this done at the same time?
We can install outlets up above that they could plug garage door openers, but garage door openers were not part of this project.
I know they weren't. They were an oversight, and that's all right. It's no big deal. I just know those big doors, especially the main big doors, are a son of a gun to get all the way up. And I know we got the magic bus to get in there. So, and yeah, I think you have a bay for the front end loader. So I just want to make sure we keep this moving on and keep it flowing all at the same time. So if it's possible, if we could look into the garage door openers so we can wrap this all up at one time.
So Mr. McGowan, your suggestion is obviously that although it wasn't initially funded for garage door opener, Mr. Hajos, is there still money left over in the initial contract or money left over to fund garage door openers?
There is the money that funded the construction of this building basically came from the sale of the MRF facility down on Dix Avenue. So since that was put into a capital project, we haven't spent all the capital project. We've spent probably upwards to leave approximately $60,000, give or take, within that. Maybe it's a little less by now because we had the electrical work to do, and we had one minor change order as part of the project, which was to relocate some drainage. I can give a bottom line number. I'm sure if the committee agrees to go forward with it, I don't necessarily need a resolution for it, but we could possibly look into seeing if we could put garage door openers in.
Okay, I'd like to ask the committee if that's their preference to fund a garage door opener, which from money from the capital project as is. Mr. Conover?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'll move that, but then I have a question for Kevin afterwards.
Okay, all right. So this is I don't think we need a motion, but you're moving forward that you approve of that, okay? Could I get a flavor for the committee, Mr. Bruno?
I agree. I think it's important.
Okay. Ms. Hogan?
I agree.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Diamond, you're there in the boardroom?
Yes, I am. I'd support that.
Okay, and Mr. McGowan obviously supports it. And I do too. Ms. Seaver is the only one that is not on the, at the committee today. Okay, so Mr. Hay Joseph, you would move forward. Yeah, Mr. Conover, I'll get to you in just a sec.
Yeah, I just want to say, Kevin, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Kevin, are these doors large enough? Do they require the emergency shut off? If they, where our highway departments have emergency shut offs. If they come down and they come into contact with somebody's head, they shut off. They don't continue going down. I think there's a code relative to that. And the only other thing I would say is relative to this is that it's an emergency building. So I would hope that we would have emergency generator or some ability to open the doors should we lose power. Otherwise, you won't be able to get your equipment out.
Yeah, I can address both those questions. The first one is, whatever the code would be, we would follow, whether it's having the eyes down the bottom, which we have on our garages here, that have, not all of our garage doors have garage door openers, but the ones that do, they have the eyes on them so that it does stop the garage door or kick the garage door backwards. So if it's coming down, it goes back up. As far as, a generator, that has not been discussed. And again, that would be another cost associated with this building. There wasn't a generator discussed with it. They can undo these doors from garage door openers. It's no different than you would have in your house if you have a garage door opener. There's typically a rope or a pull chain or something that disconnects it from the garage door opener, and you can still put the garage door on.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Supervisor McGowan, you have a comment?
Yes, hey, Kevin, this power's coming from this building, isn't it, going over there?
The power, and I'll defer that to Frank. That power is coming from the county center. And Frank, is that county center generator, would that suffice to run that building as well?
Excuse me, as far as I know, everything in the county center is on the generator, so,
Perfect.
I would
Okay.
just, sure, but I'm pretty sure it would be backed up.
So no standalone then.
No.
Very good.
But
Good
the other
question.
point, Brian has plenty of generators, so
Right.
I'm sure we can get doors up.
This is
Okay.
true.
Excellent. Okay, that answers that in a positive way. Okay, so I will conclude that discussion. The next one on the your item list is the airport T hangar construction update. I'll leave that to Mr. Hajos.
Actually, it's the court update first, and I can really touch on that briefly. As of last Friday and as of possibly yesterday, we have moved Judge Offerdew and Shelley out of their offices. His clerk was already moved out of the offices before, so that once all the agreements are finalized to the county attorney's office, the contractors can get in there and start doing the work. So the process has started, and I will kind of update you every meeting. Myself or Frank will update you every meeting as to where we're at with that project.
Thank you.
Is the airport T hangars. Actually, there's kind of two. The first one's the airport T hangars. Just a real quick kind of construction update. The existing asphalt has been removed. The project site has been excavated. The concrete piers have been installed with anchor bolts. The gravel subbase has been installed. All the conduits have been installed along there. The concrete forms, steel mesh for the slab are in place. And I believe they are ready to pour the slab sometime this week. Weather today's not necessarily helping them. If it doesn't get poured today, it most likely will be poured tomorrow.
Okay. Are there any questions about any of those discussion items? All right. Seeing and hearing none, let's go to referrals and pending items.
Supervisor Beatty, would you like me to talk about the solar at all at the airport that I discussed with you the other day?
Yeah, please give us an update on that. That was an excellent discussion. Please do.
So, as you all are aware, we kind of laid out 3 parcels around the airport that we were going to discuss either doing solar or some other type of land use lease. We were waiting on FAA to give us some type of authorization. They had kind of nixed one of the areas on us and said, okay, you can use these other 2 areas, which may have been about approximately 80 acres. So basically, we've been waiting for them to give us the green light on being able to do solar on either one of those. They came back with a letter last Thursday that basically stated that Section 163 limits the FAA's authority to directly or indirectly regulate an airport operator's transfer or disposal of certain types of airport land. However, Section 163 identifies exceptions to this rule. Basically, the exceptions go on to state that we really don't have any say in whether or not you want to do solar. We say that the land that you're using is fine for that, but that's it for as far as their approval. They're not giving any more approval saying yay or nay. So we had requested release of obligations from aeronautical use to non-aeronautical use for the two areas. And they basically have come back and said, you can move forward, just make sure that, any grant assurances, if there was any on the purchase of that property, are met. But if that's not the case, then you can move forward with doing your solar or other land lease use or land use lease. So with that being said, we have finalized a RFP for airport solar or other approved use land lease. And we will get that out to bid as soon as possible. So we can start seeing what we get in for proposals for either solar or some other type of land use on the airport.
Excellent. I think that's positive news. It's a little, as usual, with any government agency, they're a little double talking there, but overall, they're giving us the green light. I would say yellow to green light. So that's about as good as we can, I guess. Can we now go to the referring and pending items, Mr. Hajos?
Yes, we can go to those now if you'd like. So the first one is the out front area as far as what we'll do. And again, this will come in the final phase of the court area. We haven't really put anything in place. We're trying to get phases 3A, B, and C done, which is the Supreme Court judge area, the court clerk's area, as well as the DA's area. Once those are complete, then we'll start addressing that front entrance. So that's basically going to be on hold, most likely until probably next summer. And then I would come to the committee asking for suggestions of what we may or may not want to do out there.
Okay, thank you.
Next item on there is the jail area. We haven't necessarily had a meeting on that yet. I know that Supervisor McGowan, Bruno, Bramer, and myself, and possibly with Frank to get together to kind of discuss what are the potentials for that area. We just haven't gotten together to do any of that yet.
Okay. I'll leave that up to you four to determine, to get together and have a discussion on potential options for the jail.
Okay.
The third item?
And then the final item on there is the bricks, crime victim bricks that we received from the DA's office have now been set out front of the county clerk's area where the arbor is. They are all in. There's probably 95% of the work is complete. We have some plantings and such that we'd like to do around it. And I just sent an email out to Jason this morning asking for some type of dedication ceremony when he'd like to do it. I know there was some discussion of trying to get it done this fall. Jason had talked about it might not be a bad idea to do this sometime in the spring when it's National Crime Victims Week. So the work is done out in front of the county center, and now it's just determining when we'd like to possibly do that dedication ceremony.
Okay, so I think this committee, and I can't speak for everyone, but I think having some type of ceremony in the spring honoring or acknowledging these victims and their families is the proper thing to do. I think obviously we'll have to wait until the good weather comes around in the spring and this project is completed. Anything else, Mr. Hajos?
That's all I have, Chairman.
Okay, Mr. Lima, is there any comments from the public?
No, Chairman Beatty, no comments on YouTube.
Okay, I open it up to anybody, any other supervisors who may want to make a comment. Is that Jim? No, okay. I didn't know if he had a comment or not. I didn't know if he was waving his hand to comment. All right, so seeing none, I will, pardon me?
Mr. Chairman, Brad McGowan would like to speak again.
Okay, Mr. McGowan, I love hearing you. Let's go. What would you like to add?
On the referrals and pending items, Kevin, you mentioned 3A, B, and C. Is 3 the last number we're working on, or do we have a 4?
It used to be called 3, 4, and 5. We just, because it's all within the court area, we just called it 3A, B, and C, which is basically, as I said, the Supreme Court area, the court clerk's area, as well as the DA's office. And then eventually, I guess if you want to call it 4, would be the front entrance.
Right, and then after the front entrance, that project, we can
Is done.
actually close.
Will be complete.
All right, and then on the referral thing, since I seem to be leading this, I've kind of talked to a few of the supervisors, and with everything going on, what I'm going to be doing is reaching out. I'm going to be looking to see if we can't do something there at the beginning of November like I said, the beginning of November to move, get everybody together. Just trying to find a time. Right now, it just seems like everybody is going in different directions with everything going on, and I think we're finally getting a control on a lot of things. So I will push for the 1st of November there to get together with that to see what we can do moving forward with at least the office areas over there and not into the jail. Just thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. McGowan. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So
Ms. Hogan, there we go. Ms. Hogan, second.
Brad McGowan.
Brad McGowan, all in favor of adjournment? Aye.
Aye.
The committee is now adjourned.